Good morning, beautiful souls. So this week we are on a journey of really self-discovery. And we're diving into the realm of sensuality. But today it's going to have a little bit of a twist. So instead of me telling you what sensuality means to me, we're going to explore your beliefs, your experiences, your perspectives on this beautiful aspect of human existence. Um, Sensuality is often associated with pleasure and intimacy, and it's a complex and deeply personal topic. And it can be shaped by our upbringing, our culture, our religion, and our individual experiences. So today, what we're going to do is I would just invite you to join me in what I hope is an open-hearted exploration of your own beliefs around sensuality. And grab a notebook, grab a pen, because we're really going to engage in some reflective exercises. And I would just invite you, to take some time with each question and answer them honestly. Really spend time with answering them. Maybe even pause the video to give yourself some more time to kind of percolate and figure out, what is it that I've really learned in life. And there really are no right or wrong responses. It's just your truth, your experience, your view of life. So, let's start with the first question. When I say sensuality, what does sensuality mean to you? How does sensuality feel in your body? And take a minute to really ponder this question and allow your thoughts to just flow freely onto the page. And again, I would recommend that you pause the video and really take time to explore this question on your own. Don't feel like you have to move at my pace or to rush through to get finished. Really sit with this question. What does sensuality mean to me? Now, let's start to explore the influences that shaped our beliefs around sensuality. Consider things like your upbringing, your cultural background, any religious teachings that you may have had along the way, any personal experiences, and ask yourself, like how, no, first, what are the influences in my life? And how have these influences affected how I view sensuality? For me, I grew up Catholic, so that definitely viewed my or skewed my view of sensuality. My older sister also had a baby when she was 16. I joined the military straight out of high school, and I was sexually assaulted while I was in the military. And all of these experiences shaped my views on sensuality. But there are more what I would call subtle events or subtle messages that kind of, like permeate our way of thinking, and they may not be as evident. It may be more in our subconscious, but they still shape our perception of sensuality. So take a minute, again, pause the video, um, and ask yourselves, what experiences have I had that have shaped my views on sensuality? We really want to get to the bottom of these beliefs. And the good news is that what has been learned can be unlearned. It can be reshaped to form the life that you want to live, not letting other things or other people or other events dictate how you live your life. So now let's kind of dive into some beliefs or attitudes that you may hold about sensuality that you may have inherited from your family, from society, or from media. Are there any beliefs that you feel are limiting or outdated? Our parents grew up in a different time. And so, what they taught us, may not be what empowers the life that you really want to live. And when you look at these beliefs, are there any beliefs that you'd like to challenge or redefine for yourself? There are so many myths surrounding sensuality that really hold people back from fully embracing it. One of them is the idea that sensuality is just about sex. I think a lot of people, and including myself in the past, can confuse sensuality with sexuality. And I've done a whole video on this topic. So if you kind of, want to get the juices flowing, on this topic, go check that video out. But many people equate sensuality solely with sexual experiences, overlooking the broader meaning, which encompasses all of the senses and can be experienced in various like non-sexual context. It can be experienced in a sexual context too, but there are many, many more, I would even say, than in our sexual context. We experience it more in non-sexual contexts. And the more we embrace our sensuality, the richer and more vibrant our lives become. Another myth is that sensuality is somehow sinful or taboo. Some cultures or religions, they associate sensuality with sin or immorality, and this can lead to feelings of guilt or shame around embracing one's like sensual nature of having pleasure in the things in life. And many religions have stories about women leading men into temptation and unleashing the wrath of God. Many religions and cultures, they suppress women's expression so that they don't tempt the men, or they don't stray from either their partner or from God. They have these strict dress codes, or things as extreme as female genital mutilation. And whether you identify as male, female, non-binary, however you define who you are, there are stories about how you're supposed to express yourself. And another myth is that maybe sensuality is only for certain people, like those who are naturally sensitive or seductive, or in a certain body type, or of a certain age. Sensuality is a natural part of just being human. And everyone has the capacity to explore and to really enjoy their sensuality and the world around them. There's this pervasive belief that sensuality is somehow only associated with youth, and it leads some people to feel really disconnected from their sensual selves as they start to age. And I think one of the biggest myths is that sensuality fades with age or experience. But in reality, sensuality is something that can evolve and grow over time. It's not limited, but rather amplified with our age and our experience. I believe that this is why women experience their sexual peak later, because they let go of societal expectations and they really just start to embody the joys of life. Another myth, sensuality is only for couples. Many people believe that sensuality is something to be shared exclusively with a romantic partner, often overlooking the importance of solo exploration or self pleasure, or with a non romantic partner, within friend groups. Like when I was stationed in Sierra Leone, that's what I thought was beautiful is like the women would hold hands, they would embrace, they would massage each other, and it wasn't a sexual thing, it was a form of connection. And another belief is that sensuality is somehow frivolous or indulgent, gluttonous. In a society that often prioritizes productivity and efficiency, some may view sensuality as a luxury or an indulgence, rather than just a fundamental aspect of who we are and of well-being. You know, there's this there's this misconception that sensuality is somehow shallow or superficial, frivolous or selfish. And we really sometimes fail to recognize the profound capacity for sensuality to really enrich our emotional and our spiritual and our physical experiences. In reality, embracing sensuality can really enhance our overall well-being and our relationships. And sensuality is about nurturing ourselves and fostering these deeper connections with others and the world around us. And I'll be honest, I've been guilty of this one. In the past, I would see sensual women and I would assume they lacked depth or intelligence, and I would say things like, "Oh, must be nice to not have to work." Lots of assumptions. But this is what I've been taught, is that, you have to be a certain way and you have to forego, the pleasures of life. And as I've really started to cultivate my own sensuality, I've realized that sensuality actually adds a depth and an energy and a new embodied intelligence. And sensuality is not gender specific. Societal norms and expectations and stereotypes may dictate that there are certain expressions of sensuality that are more acceptable for one gender or another, or things that certain genders should like or find pleasure in. And it really limits your individual freedom to really explore the full range of sensual expression and pleasure. Just a small example, but how many men really enjoy a cocktail? But they stick to beer because that's what society expects. And there's some good beers, but like a good cocktail, like yeah, like I'm in. And some people believe that sensuality is static. Like, once you find something you like, stick to it, and that it doesn't change, and it stays the same. And some people believe that sensuality remains fixed and it's not subject to change or growth. And they often overlook the potential, for this ongoing exploration and discovery and transformation. And sometimes this is because sensuality can feel dangerous or risky. There's a fear of vulnerability or of rejection. If I step out of this box of who everyone knows me to be, what are they gonna think? What are they gonna think if I dress that way, or if I wear these bold colors, or I really start to just take in and enjoy life in a passionate, fully embodied way. And these fears, may really, just lead people to really just avoid embracing their sensual desires and preferences, fearing judgment or negative consequences. Some people are afraid to tap into their sensuality because they're worried about being labeled or judged as too much or not enough. And it's really sad how society can sometimes like stifle our natural desires and expectations and expressions, and really what we want in life. And breaking free of those constraints can really just lead to such liberation and fulfillment and just sheer pleasure. And fear can also be a consequence of life events. This was a consequence of my sexual assault. I thought I had done something to attract the attack, when in reality it had nothing to do with me. I made myself small to feel safe, but in reality what I allowed was this person, this event, to steal other parts of my being, of the glorious life I was supposed to live and experience. And really, sensuality is a part of my spirituality now. And while some people may view sensuality and spirituality as mutually exclusive, partially because that's what we've been taught, they can actually complement each other. Sensuality serves as kind of a pathway, a door to deeper spiritual connection and self-awareness and awareness of everything in our lives. And as we, continue this exploration, let's just consider the role of pleasure in our lives. How or do you prioritize pleasure in your daily life? Are there any barriers or fears that prevent you from fully embracing pleasure and sensuality? I was afraid to be judged or rejected, and these fears may be true. Insecurity, can breed jealousy, but I would rather remove these limiting negative energies from my life than to continue living a small life with my light hidden, with my true essence hidden. And my true essence, this light really draws the people to me who are meant to be in my life. And let's kind of shift a bit to our intimacy and our connection. Like, how do you nurture intimacy in your relationships? Do you connect on deep levels, or are your relationships, superficial and safe? Are there any beliefs or experiences that hinder your ability to connect deeply with others? And let's talk about the relationship between sensuality and self-love. How do you honor and celebrate your body's desires and sensations? Are there any practices or rituals that help you cultivate this self-love and acceptance? Are there any that kind of steer you away from really embodying life, from the sensual experience, because of the taboos? And as we, kind of come to the end of today's reflective journey, I really just encourage you, to take some time, really review your responses, and consider, how do these align with my values and my aspirations for my life? Are these allowing me to live a fully embodied, pleasurable life? And remember, this is just the beginning of your exploration into sensuality. There's always more to discover, to learn, to embrace, always more, hidden beliefs that we need to explore. And I would hope that, today's, talk has kind of inspired you to explore your beliefs around sensuality with curiosity and compassion, without the judgment or the box that has been built for you. And if it has inspired you, forward it to a friend and subscribe below. There are more explorations, more journeys to come. And you can also join the 5 day sensuality challenge. And if you register, there are prizes. So down below, there's the website where you can join us for the Sensuality Challenge. It's www.ourworldempowered.com, but again, it's down below. And until next time, stay sensual, stay curious, and stay true to yourself.